Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. It's been quite a while since my last recording session, so I might sound a little bit different. Real life things happened, but I'm back. Well, for you it's probably not a big difference, because you can just watch each part of the other. I'm delaying my upload, so things like this can be accounted for. But yeah, I still remember where we were. We have defeated Emerald Weapon. And yeah, optional boss, kinda strong. Second strongest boss in the game, to be precise. And I don't really plan on tackling Ruby Weapon. So yeah, there's not much things left to do we could do in this game. For once, well, Ruby Weapon is a boss that requires very specific setups and tactics, and figuring out those usually takes weeks of experimentation or minutes of reading a guide. But yeah, seeing me enact what a guide tells me really doesn't have much value, at least I think so. So we're not gonna do that. Then there's the secret materia caves, which I didn't really go into or show you, which are basically just caves you can't reach with an airship, hidden on the world map. And you need to do chocobo breeding to reach those caves. And chocobo breeding is probably one of the most boring minigames ever in this game. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that either. It's really tedious and lots of RNG is involved, and it's just not good to do on screen. Instead, we're gonna go and finish the game, because we still got a few boss fights left waiting for us. This was the save we left with last time, after Emerald Weapon. I did some more training after that, because I was thinking about making a compendium video, which was basically a list of all the spells and limits and how they look and everything and what they do and what I think of them. But I have commented on most spells already, and mere all animations lists are already on YouTube in plentiful varieties, so I just think that's not really a big benefit. And it's really a lot of time editing and looping the animations and all that stuff, because I need to fill all the time I'm for everything I want to say, and it's just a big hassle. It doesn't really fit into my usual style very well. So I just say, if you want to see what a certain spell looks like, YouTube's there for you. And instead, I have taken an old save state, which is this one, that was somehow left over somewhere. I don't know. At some point I saved here, and actually I saved outside the crater and went in here. But we are much lower. We don't have the master materials yet, and we aren't on such a high level. And I've hacked a little bit of equipment and materia together, like hacking together is the proper term here really. I've cut out most of the strong optional stuff that we found throughout the game. I'm not using any ultimate weapons, beside us having plenty of them. All three actually. I'm also not using the contain materia here. I'm not using the vast amounts of counter attacks, and oh, we don't have that many already. I think this is a safe state somewhere at the start of the whole materia grind. Yeah, probably that. And instead I'm just using more or less what you can find throughout the game. Ultima can be found in when you stop the train properly in North Corel. So picking it up is something that's not really that hard. And then there's Destruct and a few master materials. Mega All you can find at this crater, and it's not really... Is this the only one we have? Yep, it is. And a bit of counter and steel and small ideas a little bit. The only thing that's really um, stronger than usual is the HP pluses, because I have 2 HP pluses on each character to max out our HP. You will see why. And yeah, so this is roughly what a group that went more or less straight throughout the game could look like when facing the finishing battles. It's a more realistic experience for you who don't know the game, because you might have noticed so far that I try to give a good experience to the people that watch my videos and who don't know the game too. I'm not just spoilering everything at the start whenever it's whenever I think it can benefit my commentary, and yeah. And I also don't want to steamroll the last bosses and you see nothing of their mechanics because they're down in 2 hits. Instead we're doing this, and it's actually great to have a few fights before that, so okay. Yeah. You might see that yeah, I don't know. These are the spells we have. Actually, haste is a nice idea here. And yeah, you can see our attack power is nothing compared to what we used to have. But this is usually what it looks like when you are in the northern crater for the first time and just go through it in one swoop. And I don't even know how my limits. I think Klaus on his 5th and Barrett should be done. I have no clue actually. I just hope people have useful limits and that's it. And yeah. A little bit. Oh, yep. Okay, let's do it. So yeah, one more thing that we do have more than is usual is our enemy skills. We do have, I mean, technically we've been using it for a long time, White Wind. But if you think about it, if you don't know where to find the White Wind with manipulating that one specific enemy and using it on your party, it's very easy to miss. The same goes for Angel Breath, which are basically the 2 most important enemy skills. We also have Shadow Flare and Pandora's Box, and I will try to use them both just to give you a comparison of their strength with the normal spells that Sid has, and Ultima and everything. But yeah, just to give you a note on... no. Nope, no elixir for you. Just to give you an idea of how strong or weak we are, because of course, compared to the last footage you have of me, I'm super weak right now, but this is just the typical gap between story content and optional content. Most Final Fantasy games have that in a bigger or lesser extent. Give me back my MP. That, for example, like this, you're level 60, roundabout level 60 when you face the final boss, and it's a hard, but you can do it. But for secret content like Emerald Weapon and Ruby Weapon, you don't even need to try unless you're level 80 or better level 90. It's how big this gap is differs in each game, each Final Fantasy game, and most other games too. But most games have these gaps, and it's just a natural thing, because of course you want the optional content to be... that the players need to put effort into their gameplay to reach the optional content. That's just natural. It wouldn't be much of a challenge if it weren't like that. So, yeah. The battles here aren't really thrilling. I don't have much to say here. Come on. Oh yeah, I forgot this screen is here too. Oh, come on. So, things I haven't shown you throughout the playthrough. Chocobo breeding. Some of the more advanced, some of the gold saucer minigames. Ruby weapon I didn't show you. It's a little red thingy in the desert, which you can encounter on the world map. What else? Oh, come brain, don't leave me right now. What else did I not show you? Some of the, of course, the enemy skills that we didn't find. Some of them because we just didn't fulfill certain criteria to encounter a certain enemy with a certain skill. There are really some very specific enemy skills. It's just like attack that enemy with that other spell and then it will counter with this and this spell. That's the enemy skill. I don't know why they did it, but I guess just because they can. But yeah. So, as you can see, or just, I'm a little bit at a loss of what to talk about now, because I'm kinda out of the whole project after such a long break. It's been maybe not a whole half a year, but a few months since I've recorded last, just because university has kept me under so much stress. Just didn't have the time to focus properly and everything. Which is also one of the reasons why I want this project to finish, and then I can start a new project and I can... What's that? Huh! Guess what? I have been a dumbass, because that's one motherfucking good materia, and I didn't even explain it. Who has the best spells for that? Yeah, I think it's Barret. No competition. Or do I? I put it here for now. So yeah, the double magic materia. It's easily confused with a quadra magic materia, which is a blue materia in one of the secret materia caves. One more thing I didn't show you. Could you? And yeah, so quadra magic is one of the secret materias, and it's a blue one, and it just says whenever you cast the combined materia, that materia will execute twice. On the other hand, double magic is a command materia, as you can see, and it allows us to freely choose, let's not burn our MP here, two spells from our repository and cast them. So with quadra magic you are bound to use the same spell 4 times, which usually is good enough because there are just a small selection of spells that you really want to spam. It's usually damage spells like Shadow Flare, Pandora's Box, Ultima, Knights of the Round. That's it. There's nothing else. You don't spam heals, you don't spam haste. So it's not a big disadvantage. But double magic, of course, offers you the full flexibility. And yeah. And I think we can afford to use it because it's kind of hidden, but it's really hidden along the path, just like the Kiata materia was in the Forbidden Forest. No, Sleeping Forest, not Forbidden Forest. What's the Forbidden Forest? Oh, the Forbidden Forest of Final Fantasy IX, the game I want to play after this, probably. Ugh. Yeah, okay. Can I use enemy skills outside? No, I can't. Yeah, come on. Let's burn through our high potion, drug them all. Yeah. So, this is the point of no return. We didn't go farther than this, and I think if you go farther than this, you can't go back. This is basically where the final gauntlet of bosses and enemy, of mostly bosses, starts. There's not... Just to recall, this Sephiroth is somewhere down... We're near the core of the planet. There's a live stream down there. And Sephiroth is somewhere down in that hole, gathering energy and attracting the meteor. And we want to kill him because unless we kill him, because his presence and Genova's presence keep holy the materia that Aerith used and died using in the ancient city. Holy is kept in check by Sephiroth's powers. It's supposed to protect the planet somehow, but Sephiroth is blocking it. And so we need to kill him for Holy to take effect, whatever that will do. And yeah, it's time to deliver some first-class ass-kicking. Starting with a lesson in manliness from Sid himself. Can't get a much better teacher for that. This is a kind of a strange translation. Look at the number. They mean number of monsters coming from below. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment. And of course, we're not in a horror movie, but we're still splitting the party all the time. Yeah, every character's gotta say their part now, of course. Can we, please? I think this whole scene would have been more epic if they had the visual capabilities to really deliver the tension with the monsters charging at them from the distance and everyone disagreeing or agreeing at the very verge of battle. So you kind of gotta imagine it a bit more anime-like. And yeah, can we get this over with now? Thanks. But yeah, here we go. When you hear boss music in a field map, you know shit's about to go down. First of all, we get rid of that, and here we go. Okay. I think each one of these platforms has one scripted. Never mind, the battles are random. But these guys are one of the worst you can get down here, because they're just so annoying. They're just a waste of time, really, because of that skill. It doesn't show, but it's basically a wall spell, gives them both barriers. And it will recast the spell whenever we debarrier him. So we can really just leave him be and just hit him through the barriers. But it's just because of the barriers, it just takes ages to kill them. And I mean, with less HP pluses, we have like 4 to 6k HP each. And then the damage he deals is kinda okay. Not bad, but okay. This is one reason because why I used this save state. Using less materia and everything. I could have done that with a highly trained characters, level 90 characters. But those characters have, from the level ups, they have stats that are much higher than ours. And these differences in defense and attack power, you would notice them, because suddenly characters take half as much damage as they usually would. And that's a big thing in the boss fights, because I want to show you not only what they do, but also how dangerous it can be. Because compared to other Final Fantasies, for example Final Fantasy VIII, in Final Fantasy VIII the last boss didn't pose much of a threat if you had your junctions set up properly. Just because you were able to give your team such a well-defined edge and strengths that despite the boss not being weak in itself, you could just cleave through, metaphorically speaking. Or literally speaking, really. And in this game you have less things are a little bit different. The final bosses, especially the very final boss, are comparatively very hard for a story boss. So I don't just want to have him gun with every attack dealing 200 damage of the boss and tell you, oh, this would be more, this would be serious, and meanwhile I'm sitting at just winging it half-assed. That's just not the right feeling. So that's why I use the save game with the low characters, so we have more or less realistic defense and attack values and everything, and you really get the how long these giants take, how long it takes to take these giants down, for example. Of course I can 2-hit them with a quadruple strike on a level 90 character and tell you, oh, if I weren't over leveled this would be hard. But then you'd have to take my word for it. But now I can just show you. It's proof. Those guys are very common down here, which faces you, which gives you a very interesting, a very interesting scenario. If you absolutely do not take the path where the zombie dragons are in the crater up above, and you go down here and you go straight down to the bosses where we are now. What? Oh my god. I think Dragon Dive has a chance to kill enemies, and that's this death effect now heals them because they're undead. Yep, that's a death effect. Great! All again. But yeah. It might happen that this is the first zombie dragon you meet throughout the game. And if you remember, when you first kill a zombie dragon, they will use Pandora's box. So it's quite possible that when you go here and it's this hyped up gauntlet and this is the final challenge and the final final fights, you will be faced with a quite deadly finishing move, and maybe you don't know that it's a one-time finishing move. So it might be a very threatening welcome down here if your first enemy on the first platform is a zombie dragon and hits you with a Pandora's box, and the first fight results in 1 or 2 dead characters. Which is, overall I think that's a nice touch. Even if I'm not really a fan of making an area appear more difficult than it really is. Because once the Pandora's box is spent, it's just zombie dragons aren't really that dangerous, as you can see. They are easier to kill than the Iron Giants, and also pose less of a threat. Because I think that's their strongest attack, and that's, let's face it, not really threatening. Since they're undead, you can of course just use Angel Whisper and they die instantly. Or at least take 10,000 damage. But that would be cheating, wouldn't it? Of course it's not cheating. It's an absolutely valid tactic if you want to make these battles quick. But I'm not that afraid of them. Okay, let's see if we can make it to the center platform without more fights. Oh, I don't think we are that lucky. Or maybe we are. Of course we're not. One last fight. And it's an Iron Giant again. Oh, why are you doing this to me? Do I have... Let's just try a death spell on him. I don't think it will work, but we do have plenty of ethers and turbo ethers, so I think we can afford it. And if it helps shorten this phase, I'm down for it. Also, we just haven't rarely ever used that spell, so why not? Nope. He doesn't care. Little surprising. In the last dungeon, relatively high level enemies like these usually are immune to things like stones and death and all the little shortcuts that you can usually take. Yeah, come on. Let's just... Oh yeah, we still have a counter on Barret, so... We have a few counter attacks. I think Sid may counter with a mug, so with an attack and stealing, and Barret has a normal counter attack, which is just to because well, you've seen how useful counters are, and I mean, if you use them throughout the game, you will have one or two good counter materials at this point of the game, and it's a nice damage increase. I mean, what's wrong with it, huh? I'll heal the next battle. As if I had known that there would be one more. Okay, now I'm ready. Oops. Now I'm kinda growing tired of the guys. That's just... Now I'm taking a shortcut again. Despite saying it's kind of cheating. Oh, by the way, the armors I equipped are also very common ones. I think two of the guys are using the crystal bangles from... Yeah, crystal bangle, which you can buy in... What's it called? Midale, the city where the village where the live stream broke out. Whoop, down. And one character is wearing a mistil, which we found in Sector 8 second visit on the way to Hojo, which is just... It's one of the best equipments that you get, because it's very versatile. It offers you very high dodge chances, 50 and 60%, and a good slot with 6 slots, compared to the Ziedrich, which is probably the only thing that's even better in the Jaren Array, because the defense values and the elemental resistances are just... It's nice to dodge lots of attacks, but if you're hit, you're still dead. The Ziedrich allows you to just take so much less damage, it gives you a chance to heal it again. But the Ziedrichs need to be stolen from different Turk encounters, so they are kinda secret. While the Mistel can just be picked off a chest, and I think we should have one or two more, which are probably on different characters right now. And the crystal bangles are just... They're from shops, but they're still okay. So yeah, that's our setup. Time for our first boss. I don't even know how he recognized Genova there. Maybe the face, maybe her boobs, because she never wears anything on top. But I don't know. I don't know why this Genova form looks so different